All right. So for our first example, we have 5x squared plus 37x plus 14. So let's try to, do the x method for that one. Yeah? So what do I put on top? Can you guys help me up in the chat pod? 70. Great. Okay. So 5 times 14 is 70, right? So I'm just going to break them apart like this. So some of us who are still kind of trying to wrap this around our head can figure out where the 70 came from. So this is 70. Yeah? Okay. And then at the bottom, what's the linear term? Excuse me. 37. Very good. So the linear term is the number that comes with the variable. Yeah? Okay, so now we're going to find two numbers that multiply to 70, but add up to 30. I mean to 37. They multiply to 70. Whoa, that was quick. Okay, so they multiply to 70, they add up to 37. So Brian said 35 times 2. Okay, now the reason why I wrote 5 times 14 is because some of us may have a hard time figuring out what's 35 and 2, right? So what I sometimes do is I write it out again as 5 times 7 times 2. And then some people say, oh yeah, that's 5 times 7, so that's 35 times 2. And when you add them, you get 37. So that's another technique. So as you can see, every time we meet, like we hear or we see another technique that kind of be, that can be added to the previous one. Yeah. Anyway, so another thing that we have to do is if you see a number in front, you don't stop with the x method. What are you going to do with the 5 now? You're going to divide the 5 underneath the numbers you came up with. There you go. And you leave the fraction alone if it cannot be simplified. So just leave it like that, 2/5. So when you write down the factor for 2/5, it's going to be bottoms up, remember? 5x plus 2. Well, here, 35 divided by 5 can be simplified as 7. So if it's just equal to 7, then that will be the factor x plus 7. Now, late last night, I was, texting some of you because your answers were all great in set 1, I think, in set 2, but the order needed to be switched around. So here in Delta Math, you can write these in any order. It doesn't matter. But in Schoology, as I've said earlier, I cannot put all the possible combinations. So in my key to correction, I wrote down the factor that has a bigger constant. So plus 7 is bigger than plus 2. So that means in Schoology, it will only mark your answer right if you write it this way. Okay, so for some of you who have used your 2 attempts already, I deleted one of them. So you can redo your work. Let's submit our answer here. Click yes. There you go. All right. Let's clear these ink so we can see the explanation. Now I wanted to do this with you with Delta Math because Delta Math shows you another possibility of doing it. So this is like a fancier version of the trial and error that I showed you earlier. Just break down your 5x squared into 5x and x, and then check the middle term if it's going to equal to 37x, right? So pretty much those that you have to place correctly are the first terms and the constants, right? Because if you place them correctly, then as you can see here, if you simplify them, it will add up to the middle term or to the linear term. Yeah, and as you can see, the final answer here has 5x plus 2 first, but it doesn't matter which one goes, okay? Which one goes in the front, okay? In Schoology, though, I want the factor with the bigger constant first. Okay, so let's try one more time, and then I'll give you some time to work on some of them individually. Oh, let's try this. So if we do the x method, we multiply the first and the last together. If you don't want to make your numbers bigger, you can just go like that, and that's fine, right? Okay, and you can also make that equal to what? To 63. Let's admit some of our friends right here, and then 16 over here. All right, so we're looking for two numbers that multiply to 63, and they add to 16. In the chat pod, help me up. Wow, Brian. Wow, Jaylene, very good. All right, so this will be 9 times 7. Okay, so do not forget to divide by the leading coefficient, the leading number. So divide by 3, divide by 3. If 3 cannot divide the 7, you're just going to leave it like that. 3x plus 7. Okay, and 9 divided by 3 is equal to 3, right? So that's going to be your x plus 3. So which one has a bigger constant? The plus 7, yeah? So we're going to put 3x plus 7, quantity x plus 3. All right. Okay, so if you think you can proceed to the next one, go ahead. Don't let me slow you down. Now I'm gonna pause here. If you have questions, you may ask me now. You can DM me or you can unmute yourself. Any questions so we can clarify? I can see most of you are really, really good at this. Okay, and then somebody, any questions? No? Okay, so can I give you about, it's 9:14, so can you do some more on your own in the next 6 minutes? And then we'll move on to OneNote and ask questions anytime in the chat or unmute yourself. Okay, I'll give you 6 minutes. Um, Hi, Sophia. Yeah, there was. I'll explain that in a little bit. Once we get there, because you might. Yeah, so I can show you like how I put it in Schoology. Okay. Okay, I guess you're right. The sign-in sheet is also not loading in my end, so I'm gonna directly enter your attendance. Okay. Give me just one quick second. So Aguirre, Mariano. Good morning, everybody. If you're just joining us right now, your classmates are just doing some work in Delta Math. In the factoring trinomials, um they're doing the X method. Yep. So that starts from the 11th question. That list. Okay. So from here onwards, that's what they're working on right now. Okay, I'm checking the attendance because the sign-in sheet is not loading. So give me one quick second. Navarro, Page, Robbie, Shower, Tally, Underwood, Washington, Watson. Okay. Vincent just joined, right? Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so for those who just joined us, we are in Delta Math, and your classmates are just trying out some of the questions on this assignment, 7.6. Okay. I forgot to submit my answer for this one. If you just join us, this is the last problem that we did together, or I did together with your classmates. We tried the X method, and I asked them to do some more on their own before we move on to our lesson. All right, it's 9:20. So let's pause and go back to Schoology to access our OneNote. All right. I will push this page to you guys in week 8. It's called difference of perfect squares or difference of two squares. Just so we don't keep saying it, I call it dots for short. Difference of two squares. So when I say factor the dots, that's what I mean. Difference of two squares. So we're going to look at how difference of two squares look like. And then after this, there's a very short check for understanding in Schoology, and then that's where I'm going to explain the extra credit also that some of you ask about. Okay. All right. So once you found this page, I just forwarded this one to you. Like it just said done. Let me know if it didn't go through. So if you see it, could you please type dots, DOTS in the chat pod. Dots. Yep, I call this one dots. Like DOTS. Difference of two squares. There you go. Yep, that's my shortcut for that one. Difference of two squares. Thank you, Alyssa. How about the others? Could you please type in dots if you found this? It's a very short one. And I'll explain to you in a little bit why the X method is, my favorite and why I spend so much time on it and why I'm giving you a lot of extra credit on it. So, Sophia, I didn't forget, I'm going to explain the extra credit in a little bit. Okay. Dots, thank you. All right. So based on its name, difference means there's a minus sign in the middle, right? Two squares because each one is a perfect square. Perfect square. This one too. That's a perfect square, right? So when you factor it, it's like one of those formulas that you can use right away when you're factoring. But I don't want you to just memorize it. I want you to understand where it came from. Does that make sense? So I'm going to start with a simple problem. Suppose I have x squared minus 16. Yeah? The reason why I spend so much time on the x method because it works for most of it, most polynomials, even though they are special cases like dots. Later on, you'll see some PSTs as well. Okay, what are PSTs? I think I mentioned that last time, but I will show you that in a little bit. So if we do the usual method that we know, the constant goes on top, right? Then there's no linear term. There's no something like 3x or 4x. Yeah? So you're going to put a 0. Uh-huh. And then you're going to find two numbers that multiply to negative 16 but add to 0. Can you tell me what they are in the chat pod? They multiply to 16 and then they add to 0. Two numbers that multiply to negative 16. 4 and 4. One of them has to be negative. There you go. So it ends up by using the x method, these two numbers we're looking for are just same numbers with opposite signs, right? So that's what we mean by perfect square. The two numbers we get here are two same numbers, but they're opposite in signs because positive 4 times negative 4 is negative, and then positive 4 minus 4 is actually 0. But you don't want to do the x method all the time for a simple problem like this, right? It's only a binomial. You see that? It's a binomial. Okay, so there you go. So if it's a binomial, okay, all you need to do is check whether each term is a perfect square, and if it is, you can actually answer it in your head already. Oh, you're gonna break that apart into A, and then break that apart into B and B. Like this one can be broken into X, and this one can be broken down into 4 and negative 4. So when you write down the factors, it's gonna be X plus 4, and then X minus 4. Does that make sense? Okay, let's try another one. So suppose I have 9x squared minus 81, no, not yet, minus, there you go, 9x squared minus 49. Okay, so what are you going to do? You have to check if each one is a perfect square. Is 9x squared a perfect square? If it is, how are you going to break it down? Like, what's the square root of 9 and what's the square root of x squared? So what two same numbers multiply to 9? 3 and 3. There you go. And then this is just x squared, so you just put x and x. Now what about 49? What two same numbers multiply to 49? 7 and 7. Very good. And this is negative, so one has to be negative and the other has to be positive. And you got it already even without doing the x method. So 3x minus 7 and then 3x plus 7. Am I making sense here? Is that easy? So if you want to, but just like what I said, the reason why, you know, I try to emphasize the X method is because if you don't know your shortcuts, there's no way, there's no way that um you can do a problem like this. Yeah, because the X method works, except that you're just gonna put 9 times negative 49 here because that's a product of A and C, and then you gotta put 0 at the bottom. Okay, so that's the only adjustment that you have to put for X method. You have to put 0. Okay, but what if, I have another what if question. So what if I have something like this? Look at this one right here. 4x squared minus 81y squared. Yep. So there's also a variable at the bottom. I mean, on the second term. So see how you're breaking it down? So 4x is actually, oops, you break it down into 2x times 2x, right? And then 81y squared, you also break down the variable into 9y times 9y. So if you look at the solution at the bottom, all you need to do is group them together. Oops, there's an extra writing over there. It says 2x minus 9y and 2x plus 9y, right? So it doesn't matter which comes first, negative or positive, but in Schoology later on, there's a specific way to write them down again, so it will follow my key to correction. Okay, I have another what if for you on this very simple topic, but it's so, you know, it lends itself to so many possibilities. What if I have, okay, m to the sixth power, okay, minus, let's say, 4 to, let's say, n um to the eighth power. What if I keep increasing the powers? How are you going to use this method? Okay, think about that. How am I going to break this apart? Into two same variables, same power. You got to divide it evenly. So how am I going to break it down? Anybody? M3, M3. Very good. Because when you add exponents, remember when we had rules of exponents? Sorry, I couldn't fix my hair earlier because it's wet. Okay, so M3, M3. Because 3 plus 3 is 6, right? Okay, what about here? The square root of 4 is what? And then how do you break up an 8? And 8. So you're finding the same number, same variable. So square root of 4, 4 is 2 times 2, right? And then n8, you split that evenly and you get n4, n4. Since this is negative, make one of them negative, make one of them positive. And there you have the answer already. Just group the first, so m3 minus 2n4, okay? And then group the second, so m3 plus 2n4. So that's what we mean by difference of two squares. The factors look the same, but they are opposite in signs. I'm going to introduce a fancy name for you over here. They're called conjugates. Conjugates. Okay, so they look the same, except that one is negative and the other is positive. So, yeah, so we can use this word right here. The factors of a difference of two squares are actually conjugates, and it doesn't matter which comes first, positive or negative, but in Schoology, I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so now that I'm here, let me go back to the extra credit in case some of you had some confusions about it. In week number 7, that's when I started giving some extra credit work, right? And maybe you're wondering how come it's not showing in Schoology. I'm going to explain that also in a little bit. Your extra credit are the things that you need to factor here. These are optional, okay? If you don't want to do it, that's fine. But um, yeah, I'm trying to like chunk them up also in Schoology. I did not put all of, those like right away, okay? So I only have set 3 so far. Okay. Um, the other ones are here in week 8 in factoring trinomials also, but these ones are for those that have letter A's in front of them. Okay, what did I do wrong here? Ooh, what happened? This should be here. Oh, there's something that was deleted, right? I don't know, you probably have the correct version of this one. I think when my friend was looking at my OneNote last night, she accidentally deleted some of these. Yes. Um, yeah, because she asked me like how I'm using OneNote in class. I'm gonna borrow Michaela's week 8. Factoring trinomials. Yeah, so they are at the bottom portion of your OneNote. Okay, there you go. See that? So some of these will be extra credit, but sets 1 to 3, which are in Schoology, those are required. So now let me show you Schoology. So some of them are extra credit, but those that are now appearing in Schoology, those are mandatory. Okay? Some of them, one is in week number 7, right? Set 1. Okay? And 2 are in week 8. Okay. So those 3 are mandatory. Now let me show you how I made. Yeah, me farted. Okay, so let me show you how. I know. I know. It's so embarrassing. Okay, here. So if you guys look at the bottom, you see this? Those that are factoring sets, I changed their factor, meaning weight in Schoology, right? So originally everything is equally weighted. The factor is 1, right? But those factoring sets, because I really, really, really want you to practice on this one. There's no way we can move on to the next chapter until you get at least this factoring techniques, okay? So I made them, you know, their worth is twice as much as an original homework. So that alone is a built-in extra credit already. If you're giving perfect score, it weighs twice as much as a regular homework. Okay, I just don't want to make another column to like double the score. Yeah, and if I make it like if I make the points like over 0 and then I put 15 um and keep it as 1, the effect is not as much. So I decided to do 2 times the factor of an original assignment. Okay, so that's how I'm giving you kind of, extra buffer points from that one. Okay, any questions about the extra credit? So these 3 are mandatory. You even have, you know, more weight on those 3, right? And the other ones are extra credit. Do them on your paper, and then I will make sure that I will post the answer sheet in Schoology so you can enter your answers. Okay. Any questions on that? Are we good? Any questions? Any questions? Did I answer your question? Somebody asked about that earlier. Okay, so now let's do this. How many points would the extra credit be worth? Um, so what I did in the past was, let's say, for example, like 1 point per problem. Yeah, one. Yeah, so, and the other one that I'm thinking about is, let's say, because to be honest, like right now, there's a very low turnout for all these 3. So that's why I'm not putting the other factoring sets yet, because if there's a low turnout, then I don't want to give extra credit. You know what I mean? So I don't want to like post the other ones anymore, because if you're not doing the mandatory, then why would I give extra credit? So that's my whole take on it. So I'm trying to post the mandatory ones. If I get a very high turnout for this, then woo, you guys are doing it. Yay. Then here's some more points because you really, really are good at this one. Yeah. Uh-huh. So by default, it's going to be like if you do 10 more problems extra, then you get 10 points extra. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's work on this one. 7.7 extra practice, difference of 2 squares. So this is on the current lesson that we just talked about on the dots. So preview. 5 attempts? What was I thinking? Where did that come from? I don't know. Maybe I meant to click 2 and then I clicked on 5. That is okay. That's like a super bonus. I probably was super sleepy when I did this. Okay, there you go, 2 times. Alright, so let's see. Preview. Start attempt. Alright, look at this. So factor each polynomial and do not use the space. If answers are conjugates, you have to put the negative factor first. For example, these are conjugates, they look exactly the same except for the signs in the middle, right? Okay, these ones can also be conjugates when the number comes first before the variable, but the one with the negative in the middle comes first. So that's how you're going to answer these. Alright? Okay, so can you give them a try? And then we're going to look at your scores, and then whatever is like has the lowest accuracy rate, that's the one we're going to go over. Okay? Oh, thank you. All right. Okay, so can I give you about, there's 6 of them. How about 6 minutes? Can we do that? It's 9:39, so 9, can you give one example? Okay. I'm gonna make one up because I don't want to like do it. So suppose I have m squared minus 36. Yeah? So you're gonna find the square root of each one. So for example, m squared is m times m. Yeah? And then 36 is 6 times 6, but this is negative. So 1 negative, 1 positive. Hang on, honey, mommy's in me. Okay. All right. So now when you write down the factor, they will appear in conjugates. I want the negative conjugate first. So it's going to be m minus 6 and then m plus 6. Just so Schoology will mark your answer right. Did that help? Okay, thank you. All right. If there is a number, you're going to do the same thing. Just get the square root of the number. Let's say 25x squared minus 100y squared. So you're going to do the same thing. 5x, 5x, 10y, 10y, 1 neg, 1 positive. There you go. So it's going to be 5x take away 10, and then 5x plus 10. Okay? Try telling me a different formula or saying the formula another way. Oh. Okay, I'll give you some time to work on that. Come on, can we help you set up your Zoom? Come on. Because we're gonna go out later. You wanna go out later? Okay. And just be quiet. No, not if you're not gonna Zoom. So you can play later. We're gonna go out to the and then we're gonna go to Costco, and then we're gonna go to H&M. You wanna buy something from Costco? Maybe we should just buy a doll there instead of Baby Alive. What do you think? Hello, if you just came back or just joined right now, they're doing 7.7 in Schoology, and I have some examples here for you as well. Let me know if you need help. Can you help me with number 3? I don't know what to do when the variable is negative. Oh, just break it down into x and negative x. So let's say, for example, I have, let's say 9 minus b squared. So you go 3 times 3, And this one, you go negative b and positive b. Yeah, so when you write down the factor, it's going to be 3 minus b and then 3 plus b. So regardless of the arrangement, you're still going to factor it in the same way. Did I answer your question? Yes, look.
I had a question about like the what is it? Number 3.
Yeah.
So for number 3, I got it wrong, and I'm not sure whether or not it's because like I legitimately did something wrong, or if it's because of the order I put the numbers in.
Okay.
Because in number 3, the variable and the exponent are the negative, as well as in number 6. But in number 6, I got it correct, and I got it correct by when I put the variable on the right side of the parentheses, like in the parentheses, and still put the negative one first.
Okay.
But in 3, I did the same thing and got it wrong.
So if you, I'm gonna look at your key to correct. I mean your answer key. Okay. I mean how you entered it, how you entered your answer, and I'll take it from there. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. My screen is paused, but I'm looking at your answer right now. If you multiply 8 times 8, that's 64, not 16. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes, yeah, okay.
So remember, we're not dividing it evenly, like dividing by 2, but we're getting the square root. Does that make sense?
Right, I forgot. Thank you.
Okay. And same is true for number 5. So you did the 11 times 11 correctly, but not the 18. Make sense? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Mm-hmm. Anybody have questions? Whose birthday is it? You want me to help you set up your Zoom now? Yes. Hmm? Does anybody need more time, or can we go over the answers now? I just didn't want to help you set up your Zoom now. No? Oh no. So you have siblings, guys. What do you do if they don't want to Zoom? You have one more to do. Okay. All right. Keep going. And if we finish this early, if you're just waiting for me, don't let me slow you down. You can go back to Delta Math, and you can now do the first 10, which are on difference of two squares as well. Okay. Delta Math? How did you read that? You know how to read already? Okay. Why did you want to Zoom? Your teacher will miss you. You don't want to order your baby alive? Let's just find something later in Costco and buy another toy there. You want? I know. Okay, come on, go Zoom and then I'll order it now. So we can have it tomorrow, then you can play with it on weekend. What? Huh? Oh yeah. Okay, let's go down the car after you Zoom. Come on. Huh? No, we have to find the other one. It doesn't have the, yeah. How are you? Are we done? Okay, I'm gonna pause my screen so I can show you, or so I can show, or I can see the scores, and let me see if anybody else is still working before I. Oh, only okay. Half of you have, half of the class has submitted already. Okay, can we end at 9:50? So turn in your first attempt at 9:50, and then we'll go over some of them, and then you fix it later on. Okay? Were we supposed to finish the delta math? Yes. So while waiting for your classmates, go ahead and do the delta math already. I forgot to not put the multiplication sign. Oh no! Let me see how you entered it. Uh, okay, mommy is zooming, honey. Come on, mommy is zooming, mommy's quiet. Oh yeah, you put like an X in the middle of the thing. Yes. Oh no. Okay, but you have another attempt, right? You have another attempt. So okay. All right. I'm gonna show you something, guys. Um. So see, if I grade these by hand, all of these will be correct, right? But okay, so if you're having trouble with 3 and 6, you want to look at the screen right now. So if I were to grade all of these by hand, they would all be correct. However, in Schoology is like super, super, super specific, down to the very last detail. So if you just put even an extra space, an extra dot, it's gonna mark it wrong, okay? All right, so bless you, honey. For number 3, you have to put the number first, honey. So let's say, so Vincent, like 16 is 4 times 4. You get what I mean? And then this is negative x squared. So it's going to be negative x, positive x. I'm sorry, I'm showing you answers right now. You know who you are, but I just wanted to point that out because it's a very common misconception. Um, so you don't write it, Vincent, you probably, I don't know, maybe you did it like x minus 4 and x plus 4, but your name is not showing, isn't it? Yeah. All right, so x minus 4, x plus 4. If you do it like this, it's going to be marked wrong. So it has to be like 4 minus x. So if the number comes first, then the number also is first in the factors. Does that make sense? Okay, so double check your answers and then use your second attempt to fix it. So you should get a perfect score. Come on, this is just easy 6 points. So get a perfect one. Okay, you may also switch them around if I'm grading them by hand. It's also the same as x plus 4 and x minus 4. I'm so sorry. Not for number 3. Mimi, please be quiet. Mommy's working. Okay. So you can also write it 4 plus x and 4 minus x if I'm grading it by hand. Okay? But in Schoology, it's going to be really, really specific. That's why I put the instruction here on what acceptable answers can be put. Okay. Any questions about this? I think I have to use the headphone. I'm so sorry. Any question? Okay, from here, do you guys have questions before we go to Delta Math? My kid. All right. So so the first one I initially got wrong because I put the same variable that was in the example you gave. Oh, okay. Yes. So if the problem is using S, you're gonna put S. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to exit from here and then let's go back to delta math so we can practice on the difference of two squares as well. All right. All right. So the first one is 1 minus x squared. I think at this point you're at a place where you can kind of do it in your head now. Hopefully. Let's try. Okay, so just you got them all right. Yay! Happy for you, honey. Okay. Yeah, so all the factoring things, they have two attempts. If you got them wrong the first time, fix it. Okay, so how do we do this? Like in your head, you're just gonna ask yourself, ooh, what multiplies to one? So you go 1 times 1, right? So for this one, either minus or plus comes first, it doesn't matter, but I'm gonna be consistent with how I'm asking you to do it in Schoology so we get used to it. So 1 minus x, right? And then 1 plus x. Once you figured out the first factor, all you need to do is switch the sign in the second factor. So that's all that's happening here. Let's submit our answer. There you go. And you can see those square roots going on. Yeah, right? Square root of the first term is 1. Square root of the second term is 1. I think that's important for us to see because sometimes we divide by 2 instead of getting the square root. Yeah? Okay. So let's click on the next one. Hopefully I can help you with the first 5 before we leave today. Oh, why didn't my answer submit? Did I forget to submit it? No, it says done. Okay, so next section. What? Are they the same? What happened? Anyway, it glitches sometimes, so this is not it. Okay, that's what happened to you? Oh, I don't know what happened. I'm gonna click here. But anyway, if it's the same thing, then let's just put the same answer. I don't know how it happened. But if I get it wrong, that means I'm not seeing. I think you just put the same one twice. Whoa. Okay, so this system, like, yeah. Okay, because, like, it showed me those entries and then I clicked different problems, but it came up with the same one. Anyway, maybe I did that. Uh-huh. Anyway, okay, so let's just enter the answers. Okay, here we go. That's a first. Ooh. I wonder what I did wrong. Okay, so why are you copying mommy? Okay, can you help me do this? What number is this? 4? Oh no! It's 64. Okay, so what two numbers multiply to 64? Somebody in the chat pod, say hi. See, they will see you over there. 8. So 8 minus, what's the square root of 9? Okay, they see you. 3. And then put the variable in, right? Okay, so now you know I gotta go back to school. Then deal with this kid over here. Okay, so now 8 and then plus the square root of 9 is 3 again, and then x. Now I feel guilty, you guys. Like the only time I get to play with her is like what, at 9 at night after I do all the chores and do all the grades and stuff like that. Oh, kiddo. Okay, submit answer. And yes, there you go. Okay. All right, let's try another one. Yeah, she's bugging us today because she woke up late and she didn't want to Zoom or she doesn't know how to get started, so I had to help her after your class. Okay, 25 minus 16x. 25 minus 16x. So 25 is, what are the factors or the square root of 25? 25 is 5 times 5, isn't it? Yeah? So we go 5 minus the square root of 16 is 4. So minus 4x. And then Copy the same factor, but just change the sign. Okay, submit answer. So how do you find this topic, you guys? Easy, easy? Huh? Is it easy? Okay, let me show a level 2 over here. So in level 2, that's when super easy. Okay. So in level 2, that's when the powers become, higher. All right, but you're going to do the same thing. You get the square root. Yeah? You get the square root. Okay. So, for example, the x to the 6. So square root of x to the 6, remember square root is it has an index 2. So this is the same as x. Remember the in and out pattern. The in goes up, the out goes to the bottom. So that's going to be x3, right? So this should be x. Oh, how come I can't type? So x3 minus the square root of 100 is 10, right? I'm not gonna buy your baby alive. Okay, the square root of y to the 6 is if you divide, or you put the index over here, you get y is 6 over 2. So that's gonna be y to the third power. Alright, so let's put 10y. Oh, how come it's not writing again? 10y to the third. Okay. And then x3. All right. Submit answer, and yes, there you go. Okay, so that's the level 2. So you're gonna keep getting the square root of the variable and the number. Okay. I can't wait to watch this video and hear how loud my kid is in the background. Okay. Um oh, this one is simpler than the first one. So the square root of 16 is 4, right? And the square root of x squared is x. Now the square root of 1 is 1, so -1 and +1. Okie dokie. So I guess um you guys can take it from here. I did check the attendance already, right? Let me make sure. Hang on. Giselle A joined us, right? Let me just fix the attendance. Kinmura, give me 1 second. Let me see. Did Kinmura join us? Um, nope, nope. Okay. And then is that it? I think I got everybody right. Okay. All right, you guys. So for your homework, I mean, we're home, but for your assignment, independent work, finish your Delta Math, finish the first 3 sets of extra credit. Okay, so I will check from time to time if there's a very high percentage of students who did it, then I'll probably post more. If not, then we're gonna stop with those set 3. Okay? All right. So thank you for joining me today. I'm really sorry for my kiddo right here. Say bye. You're gonna say bye to them. Say bye. Happy weekend. Say happy weekend. Happy weekend. You wanna sing for them? Yeah? Okay. Alright guys. Bye. I'll see you. You too, honey. Be safe, you guys. Have a good weekend. Okay, now you're gonna zoom. Okay, come on. Let me help you before I have my next class. You don't wanna zoom? But mommy would get in trouble. Remember last time they have those phone calls, and they called mommy that says Camilla is not zooming or did not log in. Okay. You wanna help me fix your bed now? Okay. Okay, then you're gonna stay in the living room because you keep bugging mommy. Come on. I'm gonna close the door now. Go go.